Hello, everybody. Tracy, Mrs. JDog Flanagan with you here today. I'm the co-founder and senior vice president at JDog Brands. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Treasures powered by JDog. Our podcast gives veterans, male spouses, active military members, and military family members a voice in the veteran space to speak about their service, how they're affecting their communities post-service, and a tactical treasure from their past that has shaped their journey in their military career, business, or life. Today, I have the amazing pleasure of speaking with Jimmy White IV. Jimmy White IV is a South Philadelphia native, husband, father of 3 boys, and a minister who served in the U.S. Navy from 2000 to 2006 as a nuclear electrician aboard the USS Montpelier. And during his military career, he was awarded several honors, including Boot Camp Division Honor Recruit, 3 Navy Achievement Medals, and being named Junior Sailor of the Year for his outstanding service. Jimmy currently serves as the Director of Engineering for Four Seasons Hotel Philadelphia at the Comcast Center. On top of this, Jimmy is a national award-winning youth and veteran advocate, a TEDx speaker, and Leadership Philadelphia alumnus, and a G.W. Bush Center Presidential Scholar. Awesome bio, Jimmy. It's so,
Thanks,
it's
Tracy.
so great to
I get
see you
embarrassed
again.
every time that it's read, but I might have to take you around with me and read all my bios.
Well, this is only a 20 to 25 minute podcast. We wanted to save some time to talk to you, so we had to pare it down a little bit. But amazing accomplishments.
So appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So it's really good to see you again. And I remember the last time we saw each other, you gave us a lovely tour of the new Four Seasons Hotel. And Jerry and I actually got to spend, I think, New Year's Eve there. It was really awesome. Beautiful
wow.
place.
I didn't know you guys were here for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, 2019 going into 2020.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think that was just right after we came down for a tour. It's absolutely an amazing, beautiful facility.
Yeah.
So
I think you guys know how much of a fan I am of the two of you. You guys are just amazing people. You guys have done so much stuff, not just locally for the greater Philadelphia area for veterans and military spouses, but also nationally. So you guys are two of my favorite people and that I truly admire. So it's just a pleasure anytime I get to see you guys, and just to spend some time with you today. It's just awesome.
Oh, thanks so much, Jimmy. Appreciate that. We really enjoyed spending our time with you, and thank you for your service, sir. And I would love to hear what prompted you to join the Navy.
So I, believe it or not, am a second generation Submariner. So my father was a Submariner in the late 70s. And actually what happened with me is I went to college twice. I dropped out of Drexel University, and then I dropped out of Temple University. I just didn't have the discipline and wasn't ready for the academic rigor. So I remember after I dropped out the second time, I called my mother up and I said, "Mom, I apologize, but I'm just not going to make it, and it's just not going to work." So she said, "Baby, you got 2 choices. You can either go work at McDonald's or you can go into the military." And I said, "Well, I can't work at McDonald's because I would eat all the food and they would fire me anyway for showing up late. So I guess I'm joining the military." So I got really lucky. The Navy recruiters was there. And I took some calculus in high school. So he saw that. He said, "All right, you're going to take the nuclear power exam." So I took the exam, and I'm pretty sure I scored the bare minimum to make it into the program because the program was so tough. And I went home and I told my dad, I said, "Hey, I'm joining the Navy. I'm going to be in the nuclear power program. But in the nuclear power program, you can either be on aircrafts or carriers." And I told my dad I was going to be on an aircraft, and he's a Submariner. So he's like, "You're not allowed to join." My dad's an old salty sailor, so that's how he talks. "You're not allowed to join unless you become from the Brotherhood and be a Submariner." And I said, "Well, Dad, aircraft carriers have, food around the clock," which isn't true. and they have females on it, and submarines don't, which has now changed. We now have females on. So they said, "Nope, you got to do it. You got to be a part of the Brotherhood." So I went out to sea my very first time on my submarine, and I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were going to Halifax, Canada, and it was a horrible sea state, and we had to stay on the surface. If you ever seen a submarine, we got the big giant sail, and we were rocking back and forth. And I messed up the whole entire time out to sea, and I got on to our first port call, and I found a payphone. That's how long ago it was. And
Oh
I called my
gosh.
father and I said, this is the worst decision you ever made me do in my life. I can't believe you made me do this. Yada, 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 yada. And then fast forward 6 years later, first class petty officer, junior cell of the year. And it was the best decision my father ever made for me.
Oh, that's a great story.
he's he's
Oh,
he still doesn't let me live that down. And even when I won my first national award, he still talks about, none of this would have happened if you didn't listen to me. So so
oh my
I agree.
gosh.
My dad and my mother had amazing vision for me, and I couldn't be prouder to serve my country, but then also to honor them with my service.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That is really great. Well, you know what? I know when we're young, sometimes it's hard to see that our parents are actually trying to steer us in a direction based on, just our skill set or what they see. And I didn't realize that when I was growing up either with my parents until I became a parent. And now I have adult children. They're two daughters, and they're out of college and they're forging their life, and here I am giving them advice. Why? Because I'm their parents, but I can see their strengths and their abilities, and I can sense what they're going to be good at. And but I'll tell you, it is difficult, being a young person in that position and trying to take advice from your parents. But
Oh,
well,
so agree. I have
yeah.
three monsters. I call my boys my monsters: Jim, Jojo, and Jack. 15, 14, and 3. And
Oh
if any
my
of your listeners want to
gosh.
be babysitters for this 3 year old, my wife will take it. We'll take a babysitter. Uh, because we're in our 40s and we're chasing this 3 year old around,
Oh my
around, and
goodness.
he's winning. Tracy, we're losing, and
Oh,
he's
oh, I'm
winning.
sure.
But
I'm
but
sure.
but you're spot on. I see it in my oldest. He loves music. He's amazing in music. So I've he steered away from sports and went to music, and I 100% support it. The middle one loves sports, so we're supporting him in that and next
Yeah.
level. And even the 3 year old is into music right now, and he plays the bells and the piano, and he's a rock star. So just being able to be a
Wow.
father, to see them excel in the things that they're doing, and to give my little inputs to help them out, it makes me feel good as a parent to see them doing great things. And I know your daughters are doing the same.
Yeah. 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 It is really great to see the gifts that God gives our all of us, really, and to see them
Agree.
grab onto that gift and run with it is really awesome. So, okay, now you're working at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia as the director of engineering. And I remember our tour that we took with you, and you just showed me all this fancy fandangle stuff that, shades going up and down at certain times. And wow, a lot to manage. That's a huge facility that you're managing there. So, um, what was that like? Like, how did you get from there in 2006? And
Great question. So after I finished up my service in 2006, I actually started to look into being in nuclear power. And I was like, I did nuclear power for 6 years. It was super stressful, a lot of long hours. I was like, what could be the easiest thing for me to do? I said, facilities and property management. That can't be hard. And then I started doing 10, 12, 14-hour days. And I was like, oh, goodness. But I really worked my way up from the bottom. So when I got out of service, I took the job as a maintenance technician, literally changing light bulbs and ceiling tiles. And every year and a half, I worked my way up. So from maintenance technician to lead electrician to night supervisor to a senior operation manager. And then at my previous company, I was the global operation manager, managing an entire portfolio across the globe. And it was really the skills that I learned from my time in the military, those technical skills, but also those leadership skills and those
mm,
perseverance skills that
yeah,
allowed me to excel really, really fast in the corporate world. And then I had this itch around 2018 that I wanted to be back in Philadelphia. I'm a South Philadelphia kid. I just wanted to be where the action was and where I could hopefully support my community and be part of something that was really major in the city. So when the Comcast Technology Center opened up, it was the biggest, tallest, most technologically advanced building on the East Coast. And reached out to me and said, "Hey, with your background, we would love you to be here in this building." And I haven't looked back since. So I tell everybody all the technology I've had across the globe, from Singapore to Mexico to Scottsdale, all of that is all combined into this one amazing building that just has the best infrastructure there is. And then on the hotel side, we have this amazing product, this amazing wallpaper, and the number one swimming pool in the Mid-Atlantic, and a 5-star spa in a 5-star hotel, the only ones in the Philadelphia area that has that. But I tell you what, the same way that was in the military, that the people made the difference, it's the same here. I have people that are the best at their craft, that have been literally studying for decades to provide hospitality and service to our customers. And when you come here, you'll be in awe of the architecture and all the little elements we have. But I tell you, the people and the service you get will wow you every single time.
Yeah, well, we were definitely wowed when we stayed there. And for us to stay at something like that, it was kind of like, well, our anniversary is in January, so we kind of celebrated it early, and it was really the customer service, the hospitality was just amazing, and it is the most beautiful setup and paintings and architecture I've ever seen. It's absolutely stunning. I have to say it was very
down
impressive.
to earth. That's one of the things that's interesting. We like to call ourselves the resort in the sky, but our staff are local Philadelphians, or maybe some transplants that have come from some international locations. But when they come to Philadelphia, they get that Philadelphia vibe. The Eagles right now are saying it's a Philadelphia thing. We definitely feel that way here at the Four Seasons. So yes, we have this amazing product, but we have these down-to-earth people that just really want to serve you. So it's a really, really fun environment. And it tends to my personality and my character and background as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Veterans, military family members, if you're looking for an incredible opportunity, I would encourage you to check out JDogBrands.com. If you're interested in business ownership, if you're missing what was the best thing about your military service, being the camaraderie of fellow veterans, JDog is a place for you. If you go to JDogBrands.com, you can find out everything about JDog, including how to apply for franchise opportunities in either JDog Junk Removal and Hauling or our new division, Carpet Cleaning and Floor Care. And if you're looking to just be employed by JDog, we have over 300 locations, close to 115 franchise owners, 90% veteran owned. You can go to the career page and fill out the form and see where we're hiring all across the country. And we connect you with your local JDog in your territory. So check us out, JDogBrands.com. So you're passionate and dedicated with youth and veteran advocate and mentoring skills that you have. So how did you first get involved with that?
It's an interesting story. So about 2017, I received, actually, it was Army-Navy game, 2017 Army-Navy game time. And my very good friend, Joe Lemma, who is a painting contractor, he's also the uncle of Travis Manion from the Travis Manion Foundation. And we were betting on the Army-Navy game. Army won that year for some reason. And I had to take him out to dinner.
I
remember, of course, like when
year.
I won, like it was like a sandwich. But of course, he like $100 bill at the end of it. But I don't hold that against you, Joe. I don't hold it against you at all. But a couple of weeks later, he gifted me the book Brothers Forever on Travis's and his best friend Brandon Louie's life. Mm. And at the time, I'm running a regional operation, working 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I don't have time to read. So I was like, oh, I'll put it on the mantle. No big deal. Maybe one day I'll read it. So one weekend, Evolution that I had got canceled. The book was there. I started reading. And Tracy, I kid you not, I could not put it down. Like I don't even remember if I ate that day. I'm just literally reading through it, and I'm digesting it. And it's like hearing about Travis and Brandon and their service. It was like echoing my reasons for service and the things I was doing in very similar parallel lives. And then it got to the point where they talked about Travis and the mantra that he lived by, which was, if not me, then who? And the second I read that, I was like, it's like my life mantra put the words for the very first time, because I was that kid that I would take the charge in basketball. Football, I would be the quarterback to lead a team, and I take the hit for my team if I needed. I was the community leader, the son that would sacrifice extra time to be there with their father or their mother. If not me, then who? I'm going to step up no matter what. So as soon as I read that, I called up Joe Lemma, Travis's uncle, and I said, sign me up today. And he said, no, you're too busy. You're doing too much stuff as it is. You're a minister. Like, there's no way you can do this. I said, I got to. This aligns so much with me. And the Travis Manion Foundation allowed me to do service in my own South Philadelphia hometown. So I'm literally teaching kids in South Philadelphia about character and leadership, the same lessons that I wish I had when I was their age. And then I'm with those same kids cleaning up parks, the same parks where I played baseball, soccer, and basketball, seeing my old neighbors come outside their door and say, wow, that's Jimmy. I remember when you were this high, and here you are still serving our community. It was a perfect alignment, and it really was the spark that just led to so many other things. It led to my TED Talk and talking about Dr. King and his speech that happened at my middle school. It led to me being in the George Bush Presidential Scholar Program, where I got to meet veterans from all over the country. And now we still connect, even to this day, to make better outcomes for veterans. It led me to stay in Philadelphia and to continue to serve. It really was feeding my soul when I wasn't feeding it before. It's just love. I just feel the love.
Yeah, that's great. And, I think I also look on what we're doing here at JDog and our JDog Foundation. It is so rewarding, because I know it's a job, but it's really not a job. It's my passion. It's our work here, and it's just giving back, and it's just the most rewarding thing I've ever done. But what you're doing, I think, working with youth is so amazing, because our young people they just have so much junk coming at them this day.
Yes.
I mean, with social media and TikTok and all the garbage that's out there, they need people like you that can lead the way and show a good example and teach them character and leadership. And I think it's awesome that you're doing this type of work. It's so needed, especially in Philadelphia, being a city. And I mean, just crime is rampant right now. And Philadelphia, unfortunately, is one of the cities that are suffering now. And it starts with the kids. It starts with the children while they're young. It really does. So great stuff. But this also leads into what your treasure is. So I think you kind of already shared it, but I would like to hear about it. Anyway, you've been talking
Definitely.
about it.
I think my treasure is along the lines of, if not me, then who, but to add a little layer to that is to be present when you need to be present. So I personally, a quick story, I remember when I first got the job here in Center City, Philadelphia, about a weekend on a job. And I remember I signed up to do one of the Travis Manion Foundation's character presentations for a inner city lacrosse team in Baltimore. So who's ever heard of an inner city lacrosse team in Baltimore or in an urban setting anywhere?
Yeah.
I was like, I got to go to this, but I just started this new job. So I had to go talk to my senior vice president and say, hey, I know I just started on this job. I know you're paying me good money and I got work to do, but can I please have this day off to go down and do this presentation? And he was slightly hesitant, but then he was like, Jimmy, because of your character and what you do for the community is one of the reasons why we wanted you to be here and be part of our company. So he gave me the day off and I went down there. Now remember, I almost didn't go, almost didn't ask to go. I get down there and I'm giving this presentation and there's one kid all the way in the back, and he's not paying attention. He's got his hood on, his head is down. He could care less what was going on. And I was crushing it. Like I was full Jimmy White, crushing it. And I stopped the whole presentation and I said, hey man, come up front with me. Like, I want you to be part of the next leadership exercise I'm doing. And Tracy, when I tell you, this kid took his hood off, his eyes lit up, and he was just the best participant I ever had in a presentation. It was like we had been doing this forever. And he just stayed up on stage with me, and he helped me through the rest of the exercises, talked about character, leadership, and was even emotional to a bit. And at the very end, the lacrosse coach came up to me and said, "Hey, Jimmy, I really appreciate what you did." And I said, "No, that's kind of what I do when I do these presentations." And he said, "No, you don't understand. That kid had just wrote a letter to the school administration saying that if they didn't move him from the school because of all the bullying that was happening to him,
Oh no.
that he was going to hurt himself."
Ugh.
And I had absolutely no clue and no idea that that was the case. And they said he was the best lacrosse player on the team. So on the ride home, I was like, well, I got to stay in touch and I got to do a little bit more here. So I wrote him a letter and I said, "Hey, I'm so proud of you for communicating yourself and not making a rash decision, but seeking help from others and expressing your emotions. These are the things that, we don't teach young men."
Sure.
And I didn't think too much about it. But at the very end of the letter, I said, "I can't wait to see the heights that you soar to." And about a month later, the Travis Manion Foundation followed up with the kid. And it choked me up even to this day. And they did a social media post about it. It said that Jimmy White did his presentation and wrote this letter. And at the very end, it said that every time that young man gets sad or depressed, he goes into his wallet and he pulls out my letter and he reads my letter to encourage him. Tracy, I almost didn't go. I almost didn't make it down there. And every time I talk to the former director down there, he tells me about how good the students doing and how good that program is going on down there. And it makes me smile and it encourages me every single day to keep on living out the "if not me, then who" mantra, but also to find opportunities where I can make a difference in a young person's life. So I just want to be present. Be present and accountable is probably the best way to put it.
Well, that's a great story. Got me a little choked up too, but our young people need that. They need people to rally behind them, to be their cheerleaders, to encourage them. And it can't always be mom and dad. Mom and dad, that's expected. But if it's just, somebody else who just a chance meeting by meeting you, somebody took a interest in them and thought enough to encourage them. Well, you were totally where you were supposed to be that day. Right.
So agree. And is the other part of that, the flip side would be there's been so many veterans and Gold Star family members and military spouses that have come up to me and said, "Hey, because of what I saw you do or what I heard about, or the fact that you encouraged me to do a little bit more, I'm now doing this and I'm now doing that." And to see our community continue to serve, even though they've taken off the uniform, they still had this desire to make our country the best country in the world. And to do that with our young people or whatever other way they decide to do it, to see them continue the mission, it fuels me every day. I'm just so proud of our community. I'm so proud of you guys too, and all the stuff that JDog is doing. Like, you guys encourage so many of our military connected community to keep on going, to follow entrepreneurship, and to be active and vital members of our society. I wrote an op-ed a while ago that was on the theme of being present and accountable for, and you guys are present, you guys are accountable, and you guys are rock stars. So I so appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate your words of encouragement. It's just very rewarding to touch our veterans and male spouses every day by, giving them opportunities. And you're right. And it's all about, being accountable and being present. And it's easy to lose sight of that as you get busy with whatever you're doing, even if you're serving, right? But, I try to remind myself that every time I bring in potential candidates, veterans and military spouses that are coming in together, looking at a business opportunity, and that at that moment, I have the pleasure and responsibility and accountability to affect somebody and, make them be thankful for their service, and just to be able to show them and point them in a direction that's just taken on a life of its own. And it's really the amazing camaraderie and just the best part of their military service, which is being around other veterans. And even though owning a business, they get a chance to serve in their communities again. And so I remind myself every day that it's important to be present and to really care about exactly what you're doing at that moment.
Oh, I so agree. Now, I have the pleasure of not just being good friends with you guys, but also a JDog customer. So I've used JDog hauling on some of my renovation projects, and love what you guys are now doing with the carpeting and flooring, and then with the television show. You guys are a shining light in our community, and I can't speak enough. You guys have amazing, as we like to call it, street cred in the veteran community, and it's so appreciated. You guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you. Hello, listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for joining us for this exciting episode of Tactical Treasures powered by JDog. We are speaking to Jimmy White, who is a Navy veteran serving from 2000 to 2006. He is a South Philadelphia native, husband, father of three. He is currently involved with many organizations that work with youth and veteran advocacy, one being the Travis Manion Foundation. And the Travis Manion Foundation is a nonprofit organization that strives to unite and strengthen communities by training, developing, and highlighting the role models that lead them. Travis Manion Foundation achieves this through programs, training opportunities, and events designed to empower veterans and families of the fallen, and then inspire them to pass on their values to future generations and the community at large. So if you want to find out more information about Travis Manion, go to travismanion.org and you can learn how to donate and how to get involved. So check it out. Now back to the podcast. So before you go, do you have just some pieces of advice for your fellow veterans who might be struggling after their military service to kind of find their way?
I would tell you, well, the very first thing I tell you is you are not alone. I personally did not identify as a veteran. Let's say that again, as a veteran. This is Mr. Scholar in the Veteran Leadership Program, of now a veteran advocate in all these veteran titles. I did not identify as a veteran until 2017 because I thought there was no community out there. I thought it was just people who just wanted to get around and drink and have beer runs. Like, I just did not connect with this amazing veteran community of people that care about each other, want to do positive things in the community, and want to continue to serve in a positive way. So I would tell you, one, identify your veteran community, identify your tribe. Your tribe is out there. You do not have to go on this post-service journey alone. We are out here and we can't wait to connect with you. And then the second I would tell you is to find your passion. Find your passion and find your purpose, and then strive towards that. And in the military, so often, even when we think about this with military spouses as well, to be clear, we have these orders, and our family and us, we have to follow those orders, which means that anything we had else was unfortunately derailed. Well, that derailment is gone. It is now open for you to identify and pursue those passions. And there's a community of people. There's a community of veteran service organizations. There's a community of other veteran mentors out there that want to help you and support you to get to that next level. So one, find your tribe, and two, pursue your purpose.
That's great advice. And it's funny that you say that you didn't connect with being a veteran until 2017.
I know, right? I'm like,
and
I know. I get so many messages like, hey, can you speak for the veteran community? I did something for a local television show not too long ago, and they was like, you're a great example of a veteran that's doing great things. And I was like, man, I just started identifying as a veteran But the community so embraced me, and I've just been able to have all this for all those years. I wanted outlet. I wanted something to put my heart and soul into. And now that I found my tribe and my community, I'm so passionate about it, and I can't see me doing anything else.
Yeah. The reason why I comment on that is because Jerry was the exact same way too.
Oh wow.
He served in the late 80s, 87 to 89, and then he went into the National Guard. And his name is actually JDog. That's his Army nickname. He was 31 kilo back in the 80s, and the Army was a
Nice.
combat signaler. Now I think it's a dog handler. But so, you know, he did his 4 years, and he got out, and he transition was difficult for him. And he just went into the real retail space, worked his way up, and spent 25 years helping, business owners and entrepreneurs build companies, great companies.
Right.
And then I came along, we married, and we filed bankruptcy with the retail business. And then, we started junk removal. And I don't know if you know this, but we didn't originally market ourselves as veteran and operated.
Really, I saw the post from when you guys purchased the trailer and
Yeah,
first got started. I thought it was so cool, but I didn't realize you guys
right.
didn't
So
identify as a veteran owned business.
we didn't, because he didn't really identify as a veteran. Hey, I married him, and all those traits were there. Trust me.
Love
All
it. Love
that
it.
veteran stuff and all his little quirks, and oh my goodness, they were ingrained in him. They were all there. And it wasn't until his first job, or first couple of jobs, where, he showed up early, okay, because you're in the military. He was,
Right.
tight on the sides, a little bit on top, clean
Hmm.
cut. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Work ethic, unbelievable, right? And a customer said to him, wow, this is amazing. Your service and has just been impeccable. Your work ethic is unbelievable. Not only are you a contractor that showed up, but you showed up early. You're respectful and you're professional. And where does this come from? And Jerry admitted to the customer, "Oh, well, I'm an Army veteran. I served in the military." And the customer said, "You need to tell people that."
Wow.
And Jerry was like, "Oh, it's back in the 80s. It's so long ago."
Hmm.
And she said, "No, no, no." She said, "People are going to want to support a veteran owned and operated business. And if they know that you serve the country, they're going to support you and they're going to use you." So we
Wow.
changed our whole marketing strategy, and well, the rest is history. You know, so
Amazing.
so I, and it it's been an amazing journey, and I think it's been awesome to see him embrace his veteran status. And as far I'm a civilian, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if you serve 2 years or 4 years or 20 years. The minute you take a pen and you sign on that dotted line and you say that I will give everything, including my life, for my country, that's service. That's it.
So agree.
That's your
So
veteran.
agree.
And
Yep.
it's humble service. And you know so yeah, so it's funny to see that you were kind of the same way.
No, it is amazing, and you guys have been such an inspiration to be able to share that and to show that. And then I do some work in the entrepreneur space. I teach entrepreneurship for a really nice program called Venture Cafe, and you guys are one of the examples that I use for many veterans to say, hey, you might adapt your model over time, you might change over time, but that core branding, that core identity you have will never change. No matter what JDog expands into, those core values that you guys have come through with every single thing that you guys do. So it's a testament to that. And just a thing, it took a customer to do it, and for me, it took a book, and it took a community to turn me around and say, no,
Right.
you are part of this community, you are a veteran, and now I
Yeah.
say it proudly with every introduction I have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We teach our J dogs the same thing. Be proud. Okay. Well, where can people find out more about you and what you're doing and connect with you and your organization?
Definitely. I tell the kids I'm on all the platforms. I'm on the Instagram mom. I'm on the Snappity Chat. I'm on the Books That Have Faces. So my tags are really easy. Jimmy White IV, and I have a website, jimmywhiteiv.com. If anyone's looking to do anything with veteran service, community service, or character or leadership, I'm your guy, and I'm just looking to continue to spread the message that there's hope out there, that character is teachable, and that the future leaders of our nation, they're going to be in a better place because we as a community, we put them in that better position.
Yeah, that's great. Great mantra, great treasure. Thank you so much for everything that you shared today. Very, very special and great words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy. And I can't wait for you guys to come back.
I know. We're going to have to make a trip down there to see you.
Please do. Please do.
Okay. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks.
Hello, listeners, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning into this exciting episode of Tactical Treasures powered by JDog. We have been speaking to Jimmy White, who is a U.S. Navy veteran serving from 2000 to 2006. He is currently Director of Engineering at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia at the Comcast Center. He also does a lot of work with award-winning youth and veteran advocacy groups, one of them being the Travis Manion Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that strives to unite and strengthen communities by training, development, and highlighting the role models that lead them. Travis Manion Foundation achieves this through programs, training opportunities, and events designed to empower veterans and families of the fallen, and then inspire them to pass on their values to future generations and the community at large. If you want to check them out, go to travismanion.org, and you can learn how you can donate or figure out how you can join the mission or get involved. So check it out. And thank you so much for tuning into this amazing episode. We'll see you next time.